We need our copper play button.
Yeah, where's the copper play button at?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, like a wooden play button or something. That'll be cool.
Play button.
I'll make one and drop it off.
Yeah, like 3D print something like that, like a little plastic play button.
If we get the silver play button, I'm going to lose it.
Who gets the button? Do you just split it in three quarters?
I get it. I made this podcast.
I mean, you probably logically will get it.
Yeah.
It'll probably be addressed to you.
No, I'll cut it. I'll cut it into sections and
You'll
mail
cut it
to
into
you.
like 16ths and mail it to every guest who's been on here.
Everyone who's been on the show.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Does that mean every guest after that also has to get a small sliver of the play button?
Oh my gosh.
Or is this like a legacy feature?
Every guest we cut a little bit.
We're rationing the play button.
It kind of lasts us the whole year, baby.
Yeah. Well, the whole life of this podcast, meaning forever. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Out of Our Mains, the show where we're out of our mains, and you probably are too, because you're listening to some hopeless, colorful horse addicts ramble on about a show meant for little girls. I'm Maynard, and we have Robert here with us today.
Howdy.
And we also have our special guest and stand-in substitute host for the time being, Lerovun.
Hi.
Oh, you even waved.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see, I give a little wave to the audience.
It's nice. So if you guys don't know, Lerovun is a newer content creator around the scene. He's been making some little informative videos for everyone and answering some of the most deep-seated questions that have been in the mind of the fandom for years.
He's been doing some funnies and some lamaus.
Yeah, some ha-has.
A little bit of hee-hee hoo-hoo, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes. So, since you're new here, and since there might be people listening who haven't heard of you yet, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do over on your channel?
Sure. So again, hi, I'm Lerovun. I am the blue one that wears an orange sweater, not to be confused with the blue one over there to my right.
He's the blue one.
I'm the
red one. And you're the sweater one.
I'm the sweater. Okay, I'm the sweater one. I'm the sweater one. But so yeah, I just make wonderful, informative videos over on my YouTube channel. Most of them tend to not be very serious, though I like to pretend they're serious. I mean, I figure everybody wants to know how many calories are in a Hayburger.
Yeah, gotta watch those calories.
Yeah,
you know, and when everybody's looking at like Princess Celestia, like what's the first thing you think of? Oh man, how expensive is her crown?
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, how much did they spend on making Celestia's crown? I've been thinking that for years, and I'm glad he came around to answer that question.
A lot of people think of a lot of things, but the one thing that comes to mind is obviously that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of course.
But that's basically what my channel focuses around. I guess you could say I'm a pony analyst person, but I don't like being called a pony analyst.
So being a pony analyst, I wanted to... I'm kidding.
You're just a pony.
We put you in the box with all the others.
I prefer the term pony comedian.
We categorize the pony YouTubers into their sections. You've got the streamers, you've got the reactors, and you've got the analysts.
We forget about the animators, though. They don't matter.
No, yeah, who cares about animation? YouTube clearly doesn't.
Minty who?
Support your local animators, guys, please. They're
Please
dying.
don't.
They need to pay rent. They need to eat food.
Paramare Animation? No Nation.
Subscribe to Studio Cinemagic.
Subscribe to everyone.
Everyone who puts in all this hard work.
There's a lot of creators in this fandom who put in way more work than they need to, and they don't get nearly enough credit for it. And Lerovun, your channel is one of those where you put in so much effort. I mean, because you only started like a few months ago. It's been
I think it's been 4 months. Yeah, I think I started back. My first video I uploaded was March 16th.
And immediately your quality was like stunning. And then as each video came out, you improved and did more like unique things with the editing and with the script writing, and it's just been a blast watching your content. But I guess since we're talking about that, Was there any like big inspirations for you in starting content? Like, what made you want to get into it?
So that's actually that's like a multifaceted question. There was a couple different things that contributed to me making content. The biggest one by far, and this was extremely recent. It was this year's HarmonyCon, which I know Maynard, you attended. Robert, yep. I saw you through a virtual Discord
I was
screen.
technically there.
I kind of saw Robert there.
I was there, technically.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna get you out to one, Robert. We gotta get you out to one.
Eventually.
1 like equals 1% chance for me to go to HarmonyCon.
1 like equals 1 Robert convention.
That means if we get 100 likes, Robert has to go to the next 100 pony conventions and send him in a crippling debt.
No.
So you said like HarmonyCon was a bit of an inspiration. Was there anything else that went into that?
Yeah, so particularly when I went to HarmonyCon, I didn't know anybody. The only people I knew when I was going there, I was with Paramare Animation, SaphireSystrine, and our friend Pan. And Reminiscent Violet also carpooled with me and Saf on the way there. Well, long story short, I saw a bunch of my friends up on panels doing certain things. And it was particularly like the content creator panel. I can't remember if that was the exact name for it, but it was basically just like a bunch of content creators, the newer generation of
the new generation, bruh. It's generation 5 of content creators,
pretty much. But I saw them up there, and it wasn't actually until really after I left HarmonyCon where I really felt like inspiration. Like I was inspired while I was there, but I didn't know I was going to be making content until just a few weeks after it was over. And that was like that was the biggest thing for me was the convention. But of course, some other friends like Reminiscent, he's been on the podcast before. That was quite the episode. Ambizar as well. I've seen a lot of his content.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of who else. Because there's just so many people now. My brain gets it's getting like information overload. But outside of the pony fandom, I've always been really inspired by I don't know if you guys know the Internet Historian. I love their editing style. That's kind of it's some of the editing style that I try to take away from how he does it. And then of course game theory. I'm not like
game theory.
Oh, thanks for watching. But I mean, honestly, it's really hard to just say it was one person or a few people in general. Really, it was just the whole entire community that really inspired me. I mean, the main reason I made my channel was because I wanted to give something back to the community that didn't already exist. That's why my video topics are so random, because I try to make sure that what I make is unique and nobody else has done it. Because my philosophy has always kind of been, 100 people can make a video about a Generation 4 review or a G5 review, right? But I see far less people making really goofy-esque topics like the stuff that I do on my channel. But, so overall, the inspiration was just the entire community. Definitely gave me an oomph to want to produce something. And then that's when I made the how many times do they say dragon in My Little Pony? Seasons 1 through 3. Oh,
the one that started it all. Yeah, it's really cool how being around so many different people who are making stuff and are in my personal experience, just hanging out with people who are. I mean, I consider myself someone who's pretty passionate about pony stuff, but there are some people who make me look like just a casual fan that are making these
casual.
Exactly, I'm a filthy casual. There are people making crazy animations, organizing huge projects, and all that insane stuff. It's crazy how much that can that enthusiasm can run off or can rub off on you.
Yeah. I mean, the last guests you guys had on the podcast are a great example of that. The people who do the Ace Attorney My Little Pony crossover series.
Yeah.
Fantastic example of just passion.
No, you gotta finish it first.
That's true. I'm a newbie. I'm watching it with Maynard and Reminiscent.
Oh, you're dragging them into it.
Yep,
a little bit.
Indeed. So, you mentioned that you're a bit of a newbie. And I guess that kind of leads into something else I wanted to ask about. When and how did you get into the pony fandom?
So you're gonna find an interesting trend. A lot of these questions are multifaceted.
Of course.
Yeah.
But
There's nuance to everything.
That's very, very nuanced because there's a technical answer and then there is like there's two answers. There's the technical answer and then there's like the summarized answer. The technical answer would be, I first started watching the show in 2019. Reminiscent Violet, again, he was the one who actually showed me the show. I think he actually mentioned it in that podcast episode, how he converted one of his friends into a brony, and I was the friend they were referring to.
That's called foreshadowing, ladies and gentlemen.
So, yeah, we started watching the show together in 2019. He showed it to me. And I think we only watched like the first 3 seasons. And, 2019 Lerovun is a lot different than 2023 Lerovun. 2019 Lerovun was really self-conscious about the stuff he would watch on. So I watched like the first 3 seasons, and then it just became one of those things where Rem would ask, and I would be like, maybe sometime I'll watch it. I don't know. And then, let's see, about 2 to 3 years later, down the line, 2 to 3 years later, I think it was like late 2021, early 2022, I was like, okay, fine, we'll finish this darned show. So we watched it. We watched season 4, and I was like, okay. And then we watched season 5, and I was like, hubbada, 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 hubbada.
Yeah.
You got hooked on season 5.
Particularly, Sunburst was a favorite character of mine. Just when he got introduced in the series in general. Mm-hmm. I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but my character kind of looks like Sunburst.
A little bit.
My OC.
You got the goatee going on. You got the little bit of the frizzy hair and such.
Oh yeah.
I hate to be the actually guy, but
no.
Actually, Sunburst was didn't become a prominent character until season 6. You gotta keep up to date with your knowledge.
I'm sorry.
Well actually live on the podcast. Fake fan.
Well, I mean that does kind of pull back. I am a relatively newer fan to this. In retrospect to everybody else, I mean, you guys were early 2010 era bronies. The early 2010s. Mm-hmm. I'm over here the early 2020s. So we've got like a 10-year gap. Yeah. But I mean, it wasn't just Sunburst alone though that really made me like the show. I mean, the writing just got better as it went on. I mean, I always liked the writing the show had, even from the earlier seasons, but as the show went on, it got more refined and it was definitely a lot more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
But I mean, I eventually, like I said, I was coaxed back into watching it by old Reminiscent, and I actually didn't even join the fandom or even watch fandom content until less than a year ago, honestly. I think it's not been a full year, but less than a year ago. I haven't really been super involved with the fandom. I'm definitely the definition of a late bloomer.
Yeah. You're new blood in the fandom.
Which, I can't feel awkward sometimes. I don't have all this pristine fandom lore that everybody else has.
You don't have the giant mind palace filled with information about random facts of Lauren Faust's development of the show. And
give us a random fact, Maynard, now.
But that's,
and I mean,
that's perfectly fine though.
Maynard, give us a random fact right now.
Shoot, what's a random fact? Oh, now I'm being put on the spot.
I didn't say it had to be an MLP fact.
Oh no, I'll give a random MLP fact. The term alicorn was used in the fandom long before it was used in the show.
Oh,
that's a fun random fact for you.
I actually didn't know that.
That actually is a really fun fact. Okay.
Season 3's finale was the first time that they used the term alicorn, and yet there are fan fiction dating before it that used the term alicorn. And before that, I could only find one source of media, which was like a book that referred to a winged unicorn as an alicorn. There's only one. It was previously only used to describe the horn of a unicorn. But I'm getting off topic. We're talking about Lerovun's experience with the fandom.
Oh, you're okay. You're okay.
We do
I
that
mean,
here.
so I mean, like it kind of like warps back to like my content. I don't just obviously know these facts. I didn't just magically pop the calorie intake of a hamburger into my brain from absorbing the show.
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot of
that-
the stuff, usually just comes with research.
You just knew this, just in life.
Oh yeah, I was just like, oh man,
Yeah.
I just
You
hamburger.
ate hamburgers as a kid, right? You knew this already.
Yeah.
He grew
So,
up
I mean,
knowing this stuff.
There's a lot of stuff I really have to fact check on about myself when it comes to a lot of stuff in the fandom. I mean, like you said, Submerse didn't become an integral character until season 6, though he did make a very slight appearance at the end of season 5 as a young child. But yeah, I mean, I haven't had a lot of experience. I mean, I've had a lot more experience now with the Brony fandom, but I really wasn't super involved until far more recently. Though I do have a story about how I could have become a brony at a far younger age.
Oh.
Yeah, so back, it's been so long, but I believe I was in the 3rd grade, elementary school,
Oh.
Lerovun.
Whoa.
Little baby. Well, I had a friend of mine, I haven't seen them in so long now, but their name was Seth. And my friend Seth, I remember we were walking home from elementary school one day because we were able to walk home because our houses were like right next to the school anyway, so it was
Yeah.
fine. So we were walking home, and they were like, "Well, Lero, you want to come over and hang out after school today?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. What are we gonna do?" And they were like, "Oh, well, there's this show I've been watching that I've been meaning to show you." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, what is?" And he was like, My Little Pony. And I'm like, "Wow, My Little Pony? What's that?"
What the hell is My Little Pony?
Right. And I'm like, "Yeah, we could hang out." And so, but of course, when I'm younger, I have to go home first and ask permission from my parents to go, if I can go to their house to watch it. I can't just not return home from school.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go walk home real quick and I'll come back and we'll watch it together. And so I go home. I go inside my house, and my stepmother was in the living room. My dad was still at work. And I go up to her and I'm like, "Hey, is it okay if I hang out at my friend Seth's house?" And she was like, yeah, that's fine. What are you guys going to do? And then I said, "Oh, we're going to watch My Little Pony. He's going to show me My Little Pony."
Oh,
and
no.
she gave me the most like Dwayne The Rock Johnson unibrow raised stare of my life.
The Vine boom sound effect.
I mean, literally. I mean, she kind of like looked at me like puzzled for a second, and she said, No, you're not going over there. You're not doing that." And I'm like,
Wow.
"What? Why not?"
It's just a show.
And then literally, this actually was like really sad because I didn't go back. I didn't go to their house. So they probably thought I stood them up or something. But like 2 weeks later, they moved away.
No.
Oh.
So like, and they were like a good childhood friend of mine that I had like throughout elementary school. So they were just gone. I had no contact with them at all.
If you're
Just
watching this,
gone.
don't worry. He watched it.
Yeah,
Sad. It took a while.
we're gonna find him.
If only. that'd be amazing.
Wouldn't
you
that be the
imagine?
coincidence of the century?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but man, I was like, I was ready to watch it, and after that, I mean, pretty much had no interaction with My Little Pony. I mean, like, it was one of those things where it was so like synonymous online that you were eventually going to see like a pony or something, but I didn't know what it was, even still.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it was years ago at the time. I guess watching, I guess there was like the stereotype of boys can only like boys things and vice versa. And
Right,
I'm
'cause,
really glad.
this was
I'm
like,
really glad we've broken out of that.
Yeah, I mean, that was like, gosh, it had to have been like 2011 or 2012 when this when this happened.
Yeah, we were still just breaking out of that.
Right. So I mean, I could have been a brony for all you ponies know. I could have been a brony way earlier before because
can
Seth
never know.
was a brony. That was one of the things he prefaced with me. He was like, "Yeah, I'm a brony. I want to show you My Little Pony," and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got to. It only took
Until
like,
now. Yeah, it took
until
till now.
Took a while, a little belated. I feel really bad, and honestly, like it's like one of those like gut sink feelings that you get. It's like, man, I wish I didn't lose contact with that person because they were honestly really
Yeah.
cool.
That's
But
so unfortunate.
there's your Lerovun story of how I could have been a 2012 or 2011
Yo,
brony.
you could have been you could have gone from like a late brony to like one of the OGs.
Yeah.
One of the OGs in 3rd grade elementary school.
Yeah, you still could have been an OG.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, that's my little story. I don't really have a whole crazy story about my experience with the brony fandom. I mean, I'm still experiencing everything as I go.
Yeah.
It's an everyday thing now, but there's my little history lesson, if you will.
Yeah. The little Lero history for you guys. So
I like how you kept using the term "my little."
Oh, get it, guys!
My
Little
little-
Get
tiny
it? 'Cause
equine
we're a
horses.
pony podcast.
He said it. He said the thing.
In classic, like, out of our mains podcast fashion, do we get to poor shame Robert for not going to conventions?
Imagine not going to conventions. SMH my head.
Oh, not going to conventions.
I'm
Sorry, that just popped in my head.
poor.
I'm so sorry.
We're gonna get him out one of these days.
I'll
We
make
will,
it.
it's gonna be nice.
I'm like, listen, my hours. I bumped up my hours. We'll get it eventually.
We'll
Oh, yeah.
get you. We'll get you there. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
One thing I will say, just about the fandom in general, since before we leave this topic,
Yeah.
this fandom has been very kind in like helping me grow as a newer content creator.
Yeah.
I've had nothing but outroaring support, and it's honestly been very shocking. I wasn't expecting to have so many people just ready to help.
The Brody fandom has really matured over the years.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't even know if you guys know this, but the intro section for my very first video, I actually got help from Minty Root to help with learning how to do keyframing for that section.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's why it ended up looking so smooth with the text and the logo moving back, because
Yeah.
I had Minty Root kind of teach me how to do the keyframing.
Honestly, it's kind of poetic that this fandom is like so accepting because that's what My Little Pony's all about, friendship.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know that this fandom, just from what I've been told from other people, I know this fandom has done a lot of really good things. Like I know we support a lot of different charities in terms of donations and charity drives.
Yeah.
They usually have charity auctions at every single convention I've seen.
It's really awesome how supporting just even the even bigger creators and such will be, and just willing to help out with little things where you just you have a slight connection with someone, someone who knows someone, and they come in and be like, hey, I can help you with this and this. It's just crazy how interconnected this fandom is. And
if you need help, people are usually always willing.
Especially with content creation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, my channel wouldn't even function without the help of other people. A lot of the stuff that goes into my videos has a lot of help from other people.
Listen, everything that we've done for this podcast, Maynard just has had to learn himself mostly.
No, actually, I wouldn't say that, because even getting into I would say that a lot of stuff that a lot of the changes that were made for the better for this podcast were because of other people.
Well, in the beginning.
In the very beginning, yeah, but the beginning of this show was garbage.
It wasn't all bad.
But what I'm saying is, off the top of my head, right? I know that SaphireSystrine gave us these audio presets to make us sound a lot smoother, and taught me a little bit about how to do equalizers stuff to make the audio sound much better. I started using an actual video editing program, DaVinci Resolve, because of Singlehoof. He was also the person who introduced me to the Discord reactive images.
Oh yeah,
that are on
screen that's fantastic.
now.
These are very useful, by the way.
Yeah, but that's just off the top of my head. I mean, we had people do art for this. SaphireSystrine again did did our old profile picture. It's wild.
I mean, yeah, you did get a lot of help, but let's be real. You carry this whole channel on your damn shoulders.
I try.
You do all the editing.
I put in as much work as I can, but kind of like Lero's channel, this podcast would not be as I don't want to say good, but
Maynard, I just realized this. This is rather a random subject, but do you have a cutie mark? Where's your cutie mark?
oh, you didn't know about this?
No, what? I just noticed that. I looked at Robert's pony and I was like, okay, microphone. I didn't. What's the lore? What?
Okay.
You don't have to go in deep. You don't have to go too in deep. I'm just curious why you don't have one.
It's just because I don't. I've been thinking, especially lately, about figuring out a cutie mark and such. Foreshadowing. But originally, why I didn't have my OC have a cutie mark is just because, well, for one, it's not really an OC. It's more of a Sona. But the reason there's no mark is because at the time I didn't feel like I had found like my special talent or the thing that defines
that
me,
you're really good at.
Yeah, I think that was kind of my thing where I was for the longest time still kind of searching for
what you wanted to do.
Yeah,
or what you
I
thought you were really passionate about.
Yeah, exactly. Because I had way old OC designs that
was it like a game controller plugged into a keyboard or something?
I was like, I'm gonna be the guy who plays video game music on piano, and it's gonna be an electric keyboard with the game controller plugged into it. But
that's great.
But I obviously don't do any of that now.
Very interesting. Well, if this video gets 200 likes, Maynard will get his cutie mark.
I don't think that's how that works, but
it's
sure.
gonna be just a picture
it's just
of
a YouTube
the
like button.
It's just gonna be it's just gonna be the like button.
Yeah, if you guys, if this video gets to 200 likes for the rest of the season, I'll put a YouTube like on.
It just zooms in. It just zooms in on Maynard's flank and just has slightly emanating a YouTube like logo. This could be Maynard.
Watch this bite you in the ass years down the road.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awful.
They get it to 200 and then they're gonna demand you make your cutie mark the like button.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh. People are gonna dig up the old, what will be the old episodes. I'm gonna stretch the segue as much as I can.
Oh, you're okay, go ahead.
Talking about, you know exactly what I'm doing. Talking about cutie marks on Sona. And Sonas, most people don't use Sonas, they use an OC. So I wanted to ask you about your OC, because I know you've stated before publicly that that Solstick Breeze is the name of the character you use in all your videos, and isn't really a Sona necessarily. It is a character that you use. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your
Spill
OC?
the tea.
Yeah, so you kind of hit it right on. I kind of like to look at Solstick. Kind of comes at two different ways. Solstick is, in a sense, an embodiment of me. I mean, I wear glasses, I have a goatee, my hair kind of looks like how his hair looks. I have the same orange sweater he wears.
It's the Spain image, uncanny.
Yeah, but he is kind of like a mascot in a sense. In terms of I don't want to say he's a brand mascot, but he is he is his own character in his own universe. Like when I make my videos, you're watching a Lerovun video, but it's not Lerovun that's talking about the topic.
Yeah,
it's Solstick Breeze talking about the topic. But for example, I don't know if many people noticed in the Princess Celestia Crown video, when it goes to the black and white section. It doesn't say it's a Solstick Breeze segment. Solstick Breeze talks about the difference between carrots with a K and carrots with a C. It is licensed and owned by Lerovun, but it is Solstick himself talking about the topics.
Interesting. I never really thought about it that way. What is I want to know the deep lore of Solstick, how you came up with the character, because this is a character you had before you started the channel, right?
Correct. So this character actually just turned a year old on my birthday. I made this character on my birthday, or I had it finished on my birthday. So
yeah,
it's a little over a year old. And his origin actually came from a separate character. So before I got super involved into the fandom, I had a separate OC, Tender Breeze. I don't know if have I showed you them before, Maynard?
Yeah, I've seen Tender Breeze.
I don't know if Robert has seen Tender Breeze.
No,
Robert,
I
have you
have
seen?
not.
Hold on, let me quickly get this image. I had it ready on standby.
Oh,
for
you
this.
were ready for this.
You were prepared.
See, and the behind the scenes, that was my original OC. It was a female Pegasus pony named Tender Breeze.
I see.
All the art is done by Astral Blues. And speaking of Astral Blues, everything you see on my channel is made by Astral Blues. Every single PNG sprite, every banner, icon, all made by her. Wonderful artist.
Astral's amazing.
Astral is really good work. But yeah, Tender Breeze was my original OC. And I made this probably back... It was before I finished the show, but also before I got into the super ingrained into the fandom. But I still kind of liked the idea of having like a little pony OC. This is back when I was like still super self-conscious. I was like, oh man, do I even want a pony as an OC?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh no. But so I commissioned that with their help. And about a few years later, when I was like getting really into the fandom, I was like, honestly, I kind of don't want to be super represented by like a female pony.
Mm-hmm.
And so what ended up happening was I ended up completely changing the lore of that character. So instead of that character being my OC, I made it my sister. So then came along Solstick Breeze, the canonical brother of Tender Breeze. So it actually is a canon thing. So in this universe, I've always actually thought about maybe bringing Tender and using her in some way in like a future video. Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. But that's kind of where the origin came from. It was just that I wanted to have a character that felt more like me.
Yeah.
So I came up and I talked with Astral and we came up with Solstick Breeze. You know, they wore glasses like I do. They had a goatee. A lot of people miss the goatee. It's actually really funny. And a lot of the art that I've commissioned, a lot of people don't give him a goatee because I guess they don't see it, which I kind of get. The colors kind of are similar to the orange sweater, so
yeah, it blends in and it's a little small. So
yeah, but yeah, Solstick Breeze was just a fabrication that stemmed off of my original OC Tender Breeze, and the name of Solstick Breeze originated. I knew I was going to keep the last name Breeze. I just didn't know what the first part of the name was going to be. So I always knew that no matter what, Solstick Breeze was going to be a breeze. So I just thought about it for a while, and I was like, summer solstice, solstick, without the E.
Ah, that makes sense.
So it's like a solstice breeze, but a solstick breeze because it sounds nicer when you say it without the E.
Yeah, and you have the cutie mark with like the hourglass in the sun, right?
Yeah, the hourglass in the sun to symbolize the summer solstice.
Heck yeah. That's
and
awesome.
It's kind of also like multi-layered in the sense of, in real life, I have a very deep fascination with like how time works and just like time magic and stuff like that. Like I'm not like a believer of actual magic. I just mean in the sense of I think the idea and concept of time-related magic is really cool. Like in media, like Doctor Strange or like other things from other shows. So that was like, and I guess that's kind of like why Starlight Glimmer's pretty cool, She traveled through time a little bit, She's a little bit she's a little bit based. A
little bit based.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was just how the character came about, and that's kind of where he sits to this day. Solstick Breeze is and to clear up some stuff, I'll say it since I'm on a podcast. Cool. Solstick Breeze is a male Pegasus.
Yeah.
I pretty much every video I've uploaded on my channel always has at least one or two comments of somebody saying, "Are you a girl?"
Yeah, it's so funny seeing so many comments that get confused. I'm like, I get that a lot of people miss the goatee and everything, but like, the goatee's there.
Yeah.
I guess my voice is like androgynous or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe? I don't know. I mean, you are like a little bit more like soft spoken, but like.
But yeah, I'm Male pony.
Yep. So you heard it here first, folks. No, since we were speaking about like the, I guess I wanted to ask about the name Lerovun. Where did that come from exactly? Because that is a separate. A lot of people who make their channel and have like an OC that represents them just name the channel after the OC. But you chose to do a different name and a name that you use to represent yourself elsewhere online as well. So where did the name Lerovun come from?
So Lerovun is a very seasoned name that I've had for many a year. It actually stems back to when I first ever played Dungeons and Dragons, the tabletop role-playing game.
Yeah.
So Lerovun came about when I had to make my character for Dungeons and Dragons, and I was like, oh man, what am I gonna name him? So I just started like thinking of a bunch of random syllables at the time. And at the time when I started doing D&D, I was taking German class.
Oh.
I had German as one of my classes during school. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna give the O an umlaut in this whatever name I choose. So it's like, so I just came up with Lerovun, just random syllables. It was Lerovun. So, and I pronounce it Lerovun. I'm pretty sure with like an umlaut, it kind of has like a sound, not like an O.
Yeah.
But I just always went with Lerovun.
It's easier to say.
Yeah, so Lerovun was a sorcery, or a sorcerer in the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign. He focused in ice magic.
I see.
So yeah, the name Lerovun just came from D&D, and it's just been a moniker that I've stuck with for a long time. A lot of people might notice that I don't have the umlaut anymore over the O. Main reason for the umlaut being retired is because I knew darn well people trying to search my name on YouTube, they would never find it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
You'd have to put an umlaut on the O, and I was just like, dude, that's way too much effort. If I just put Lerovun, people are going to find it. So now when you just type in Lerovun, you find my channel really easily. Now, at first, there's a caveat to that, because at first, when my channel was first starting out, before I got a bit of traction, it kept trying to autocorrect Lerovun to Lenovo, like the people who do the computers.
Yo.
I was just about to bring that up.
Lenovo now?
Yeah, so people would try to look up Lerovun, it would automatically correct to what they were searching for to Lenovo. So it's like, did you mean Lenovo? And I'm like, no, I meant Lerovun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't have that problem anymore just because of how much I've been just filtered into the search results. So now Lerovun is its own thing. Thank goodness. I was tired of being a laptop.
So now as your channel's kind of gained a bit of traction, you've gotten to a point where like, yeah, you don't really have to worry about that anymore because your channel's gained quite a following, to be honest, in such a short period of time. You mentioned you started making content 4 months ago, but you're around 2,000 subscribers on YouTube now?
Yeah, I am roughly like 60 odd subscribers away from hitting 2,000. Surprisingly.
I wanted to ask you if like, because again, that was such like a short period of time. Did you have, because you mentioned a lot of people helped you with certain things. Did you have like any experience with making anything similar to that in the past, like with any like video editing or anything like that?
So this one might come as a shock to some people. No, I've had no video editing experience before I started making my channel. Everything you see on my channel has been completely self-taught, whether it had been through videos or some people giving me tips and pointers here and there. But I've only been editing for 4 months.
That just blows my mind, like genuinely. Seeing the quality of stuff that comes from your channel, the amount of like attention to detail that's there. It's just wild. And I know that I knew when watching your stuff, or I can't say I knew because no one can know these sorts of things, but I had a strong feeling that your content was going to like take off pretty quickly and that you were going to start gaining some traction. I wanted
You
to
know,
ask.
I didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Not really. But go ahead and finish your thought first. You were going to ask a question.
Oh, that was exactly the question I was gonna ask. Was
Oh,
like,
well,
were you expecting
shoot.
that?
No, no, I wasn't. So, when I first made my channel, I kind of went in with a goal. There was my main objective when I made my channel, and this still remains true even to now. I never wanted to hit it big or get a big strive. I just wanted to make videos. I wanted to make, like, it didn't matter to me if one person watched it or 100 people watched it or 1,000 people watched it. I mean, obviously, the more people that watch it, the better. That's great. But it's never like my motivating factor. It's not like I get sad if a video underperforms, or I don't get sad if it doesn't get a lot of traction, because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to produce something that doesn't already exist, and to me, that is satisfying enough.
Heck yeah, I respect it. Now me on the other hand, if our videos don't reach 200 views, if our videos don't reach 2,000 views, if this
my
video
God.
doesn't hit 2 million views, we're quitting the channel. We're giving up. No.
500 likes to save the Out of Our Mains podcast.
Oh my god.
If you don't like this video, you're personally digging the grave of this podcast.
A timer has appeared at the top of the screen, ticking down
Yeah.
from 10 seconds. You have 10 seconds to like now.
You have 10 seconds to like this video. No. No, I think that's awesome though, that you just want to make stuff. And I mega respect that, cuz yeah, I think a lot of people see that too. A lot of people see that you're making stuff to be enjoyed, to like for people to like to look at, that you can look at and be satisfied with the level of quality with it. And
You know, if it gets somebody to laugh or even just smile, that is satisfactory to me. And I mean, I don't like, obviously, of course, am I happy that I've gotten so much traction? Absolutely. I've been very blessed and honored to have the ability to have made as much headway as I have. I mean, not a lot of other content creators have been even that lucky in terms of like exponential growth. So I've been very, very thankful for the audience that I've been able to accrue since I've started.
In regards to that, do you have any, like, can you pinpoint any, like, I guess not anything specific, because it's never just one thing, but do you have any, like, pointers that you'd like to share for, like, other people who are starting their stuff off, or, like, are looking to, start a channel? Do you have any, like, advice for smaller creators that are just starting, kind of like you were 4 months ago? Like, is there, actually, no, let's rephrase this. Is there anything you wish you knew before you started making content?
I'll answer both questions, because I think I have a little bit to say about both variations of the way we worded this. So in terms of things I wish I knew when I started making content, the amount of effort you have to put in, depending on what you're doing, varies very greatly. And I've especially come to find that in the most recent video that I'm working on right now. It has been arduous. It has been a tall task, to say the least.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of something I wish I knew, but I mean, it really just depends on what you're trying to go into. This kind of like wraps back around to the original rendition of this question. In terms of like tips, just do what you want. I mean, like, I know that's like so cheesy. It's like, oh, well, he said it.
Yeah. He said the thing.
He said the do what your heart desires. But I mean, really, if you do what you love, things will come around eventually. And it may take as short as a few months as it took me. It may take you years. But, you know, I think I've always been a big believer of, if you get out what you put in. If you put your heart into something, eventually that thing will work out. Outside of that, I mean, I always encourage unique thought. Always try to create something that maybe other people haven't created. Because, you know, random and wacky things, like what I make, for example, tend to get relatively good clicks because people are like, what? They're like, what?
Yeah.
What is this? Like, not many people are just thinking off the top of their head, you know, how many times they say dragon in My Little Pony, or, you know,
of course,
can you beat a Maritime Bay adventure using Donkey Kong bongos?
I mean, I thought that, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, really, just if there's something you want to do, and like I said, it doesn't have to be super unique either. It can be as unique as just throwing in your own personality.
Yeah.
I mean, personality can really carry a lot of what you do in this field. And I think with the content that I make on top of like the persona that I take on with Soulstick Breeze, I think people have kind of flocked to that a little bit, which has been very, very cool to witness. But there's nothing really else I can really think of in terms of like what I wish I knew beforehand or much other tips. Just be unique, guys. You got this.
Heck
Just
yeah.
Make content. Start creating.
Just do it.
Robert, start creating.
Robert, start creating.
Robert, start creating.
I'm sorry.
Robert, work on your video.
I'm sorry.
All right, second tip. Don't peer pressure people into creating. Let them do it on their own volition.
No, second tip, peer pressure people into creating.
Bad pony content better than no pony content.
Yes, exactly. How dare you focus on personal growth over
You're right. I gotta be a
providing
machine.
to the pony
I
content.
gotta be.
Life before pony people. I don't know what these two are talking about. Focus
I think
on
you got
IRL
that
stuff.
mixed up. No, yeah, definitely.
No, but genuinely, just do what you guys like, and with time, and if you put enough effort and passion into it, things will come around.
Heck yeah. And I think your channel is a really good example of that. Is just you were doing something that you didn't think anyone else had done before, and you started putting effort into it, and you liked what you were doing, and other people followed suit. They also started to like your stuff.
And be ready to cringe, people, please. You're not going to like your first video as much as you like your newer videos. That's just going to be how it goes. Don't ever...
Tell me about it.
I don't hate my first video, but I can definitely see the quality difference between my first video and my newer videos. That's just how it goes. You're going to learn more stuff as you do it.
You're always going to be improving. And, well, you always want to be improving. Honestly, I think that looking back and seeing, like, being able to see the flaws in some of the earliest stuff you've made, I think that's a kind of a mark of improvement, because it's like, yeah, if you watch your stuff right now and you're super proud of it, and you look back at your old stuff and you're like, oh man, I wish I had done this, I didn't know about all this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a genuine sign of growth. And like,
Certainly.
I'm not saying like dump garbage on your old stuff and tell people to never watch your old stuff. I'm talking to myself a little bit here. But but at the same time, like, yeah, when you can recognize what you did wrong and what you're doing right now, like, that's just a show of you're getting better. And that's awesome.
Yeah. And it's okay to be proud of your old videos even still, because you gotta remember that video, like your first or earlier videos that you'll make as a content creator, you typically did as much as you could to make that video as good as you could at your skill level or what you were capable of doing. So you should still be proud of that, because you put in the effort for what you could do at that moment.
You got started. And when you start something like that, a lot of people quit before they even start. And but if you can put out the effort and make the thing, just putting something out there is like, that's impressive all on its own. How many people
100%.
are there out there who have daydreamed about making content for so long and never done anything about it? I know I was one of those people for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, like, geez, I don't mean to like dawdle on this topic. I apologize, but it's so perplexing to me. Not even just how much traction I've been able to pick up, but not even just for my channel, but just being seen by other content creators. Like, I don't know if Robert knows, but I'm pretty sure you know Maynard. I've been very lucky and blessed to also be like featured on other platforms like Little Shy's Top 10. We were speaking about Little Shy. I've appeared on their Top 10 pony videos a couple times now. So I don't know how I keep getting on there. And even just today, a collab video I did with Banquo Zero, that got featured on the front page of Equestria Daily.
Go watch that, by the way. It's a good video. But
yeah, very, very good video. Banco put so much effort into that. Oh my gosh.
Since we're talking about advice for smaller creators, and this is, by the time this episode goes out, the announcement will already be out there. I think the schedule is already out there anyways. So just so you guys know, listening, if you want to see me, if you want to see Lero, if you want to see us doing a panel at Everfree Northwest, we're gonna be there. I believe.
Yes.
Do you have the time on hand? Actually,
it should be at 8:45 p.m. on Saturday in room Cadence.
Oh boy.
yeah. So we're gonna be on a panel called "A New Generation of Brony YouTubers."
Are you gonna advertise
And,
that of our mains podcast?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah. Everyone on there has to sign a blood contract to get on to the
Blood
No,
contract?
no. Banco Zero was the one to set all this up. So,
Yo.
Yeah, so yeah, if you want to see us up on there, y'all should come down to Everfree. We'll be happy to meet you.
I would go to if I had money.
Speaking of poor people, Generation 5.
wow!
What a segue!
Came out swinging.
This is why we brought you on. You're gonna be wonderful.
Wow. Okay. No, so something else I want to talk about, and I'll ask you, but I'm kind of also asking Robert, and I'm asking myself.
Sure.
We're gonna go into some thoughts
Yeah.
on well, actually, before we go into our thoughts on chapter 4, because yes, chapter 4 came out, I very much want to talk about it. I've been waiting to talk
Yes.
about this for so long. Before that, though, Lara,
Yes.
what are your thoughts on G5 so far?
Horrible. I hate it.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, yeah, no.
It killed the fandom.
Oh no!
It killed Lero too, apparently.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah.
Fandom's, the
G5
fandom's
killed it.
over. We gotta shut everything down.
In all honesty, I've been relatively okay with Generation 5. I think I don't think this is a very unpopular opinion, but I think obviously it's gotten better as it's gone on. We don't have a whole lot of content to kind of work off of. I mean, we have a little bit to work off, but I mean, it's kind of hard almost because just how many different types of content G5 has. Like for example, there's Make Your Mark, then there's Tell Your Tale, and
Yeah.
I still have no idea if like Tell Your Tale is supposed to be canon at all to Make Your Mark. I don't know. Is it supposed to be canon? Does anybody know this?
I actually kind of know a little bit about it. So, the way that I've had it explained to me is that they both kind of, or in the way that it's like best interpreted, I think, is one of them isn't really canon to the other. They're more like retellings of the same story, if that makes sense, because there are multiple instances where like the I forget what it's called, but the bus thing, like the bus spaceship airplane thing.
Oh gosh, the
The
G5
next piece of
bus.
merchandise.
Yes, that was created in two different ways in both of the shows. There are multiple other like events that happen in both shows that you see on screen in the shows in completely different ways, but they still kind of work in the same continuity per se.
Sure, I
It's-
kind of get that.
It's an interesting dynamic between the two shows, but I don't think that either of them is canon to each other. But
They're just kind of in their own canon, like they're just like you said, retellings of the same story,
yeah, exactly.
just in
I'd
like a
like to
different
think-
narrative way.
That even if they aren't canon with each other, I feel like aspects that are introduced in Tell Your Tale could be canon to Make Your Mark.
Yes. Yeah, like I think it's Senior Butterscotch was first introduced in Tell Your Tale and
Mhm.
then ended up showing up in Make Your Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think the first episode of Tell Your Tale was them like setting up and getting like the Bright House all ready to go.
Yes, it
and
was.
then episode 1 of Make Your Mark, it was already all set up and ready to go
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
had done that and Tell Your Tale.
So like it's an interesting dynamic, but yeah, I think most people have felt about the same about like
Just
Make Your Mark
know.
is just it's
Yeah.
it's there.
It's inoffensive.
And then chapter 4 happened.
Everything changed when the chapter 4 attacked.
And we got blessed with decent writing.
Not good writing, just decent writing.
Decent writing. Good humor. Consistent visuals.
See, like, chapter 4 was definitely, like, it wasn't the best thing in the world. It was no G4.
It was I feel like chapter 4 was the season 2 of G4.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell a lot of differences and improvements that they had been making just in general. I definitely felt a lot more expressive in chapter 4 compared to the other chapters. There was still moments where the scenes kind of felt empty, but I do think they've been doing a bit of a better job to not make everything feel so empty.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see a lot of ways that they've improved in specific things. And, like, of course, everyone's been frothing at the mouth for, like, actual lore stuff to happen, actual story stuff to happen.
Not just filler episode stuff.
And it finally happened.
Yeah.
And everyone freaked out about the last episode.
Oh, I got pretty excited seeing certain things.
I was actually gonna ask, since we're talking about the last episode, I'll give my opinion last on this episode, but I'm just curious, what were your guys' opinions on the episode, on the last episode of chapter 4?
Okay, when I first started, it didn't hook me immediately. I thought it was a step up, but I was just like, okay. And then as it built up to that last episode, I started getting hooked, and that last episode hooked me right back onto G5, I'll be honest.
Heck yeah.
Like I got excited for ponies again.
Yeah. I personally, I know everyone has been super hyped about that last episode, and I get why. I personally think the episode right before it, though, is peak G5.
Oh yeah, that last episode was what started to really, like, get me hooked, and then the final episode, like, basically reeled me back in. Because it was nice.
Starting off with one of, if not the best episode titles in My Little Pony history. A Little Horse? Are you kidding me? That's so good! That's genius! Why have they never done that before? That's wonderful.
Man.
Right, I love Little Horse.
A Little Horse.
Oh, goodness. You're right.
There's so many layers to it. Pip's sick, so she's a little horse. Yeah. But Pip is also the smallest of the ponies, so she's a little horse.
Yeah.
She's a small pony, so she's a little horse. It's like...
Yeah. Also, Pip just became my favorite in that entire... Like, she like, started rising the ranks really quickly.
Can we please post that GIF? Can we please post that GIF of, like, her wagging her arms as Zip, like, holds her back?
Yeah. I'm putting it right now. But Pip, even now, the other characters have gotten better, but Pip just consistently has been the most, like, characterized character.
I love Pip. I didn't like her in the movie, and I love her here.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you like them, Robert. They're very, very spicy character.
Yeah, like, initially, like, you know, Pip was not very likable because she was, like, just the way she acted in the movie. And then the series comes out, and they make her just my favorite character in G5.
Oh, she's been so great.
She's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I know people want to talk about, like, Celestia and Luna cameo.
I did like that, admittedly.
I did, like, a double take when that happened.
I was extremely confused, though, because they had their wings and their horn as fillies. I don't think that's lore accurate to G4.
So, okay, the funny thing is, G4 in a few instances isn't lore accurate to itself. I'm gonna get burned at the stake for this.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
but, I can
true,
see
though.
the, like, laser sight on your forehead
Put
now.
put your pitchforks down, please.
Wait, let me explain. No, like, G4 is a great show and everything, but there was also kind of an issue in later seasons where a lot of the writers that they brought on, they weren't required to watch the entire show.
Yeah.
It's true.
They were only required to watch very specific episodes, and that's why you'll see, like, people complain about, like, season 8, season 9, a lot of the main six can kind of seem to like regress to an older state.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because some of the episodes that these writers were shown were some of these characters' most dramatic episodes. Like, Lesson Zero was one of the episodes for Twilight.
Oh, gosh.
Like, some of the early awful Rainbow Dash episodes were some of the ones they had for Rainbow Dash. Anyways, but my point being that there's two different explanations for Celestia and Luna. There's the one if you just take the show as the only canon and that's it, which is in the Flurry Heart episode. Luna says something like, the birth of an alicorn is something we've never seen before, or something like that.
Right.
But at the same time, there was the Book of the Two Sisters that came out. It was a book essentially like detailing Celestia and Luna's childhoods. And they were said to have been, I haven't read it personally, but they were said to have been alicorns at a very young age. And I think that's where G5 is kind of drawing from more so. I think the line in G4, obviously canon is up to everyone's personal interpretation, whatever. But I think the line in G4 was honestly, don't kill me, but I think it was just bad writing. I think it was just someone not knowing what they were talking about and writing a line.
Gotcha.
But
it might have been. Yeah.
But it's definitely up to interpretation and everything. And there are other things that are in the lore of G4 that haven't lined up with what's in G5. And yeah, that sucks. But I think this specifically is something they wouldn't just do that and try to stomp on previously established lore. I don't think, at least.
I don't think it was intentional, or like, you know, that wasn't their goal with it. I mean, like you said, canon is very up to interpretation. You know, there's a lot of, I mean, there's obviously a divide between fanon, right, and canon, but
of course,
at the end of the day, I mean, there are definitely points that can push you into one direction of a canon, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's really up to you what you want to decide on what you think is particularly canon or not.
Yeah, but anyways, all that aside, I know everyone's freaking out about Celestia and Luna showing up. I know everyone's freaking out about the finale battle and everything. But some of the things that I've liked the most about Chapter 4 haven't been any of that. Sure, I freaked out when I saw Celestia and Luna. I was playing a game while watching it because I was like kind of half interested. And then I look over and see Celestia and Luna and I'm like, huh?
You're like that Starlight video you did. Huh? I see.
I see.
Except I didn't see. I did not see.
It's just
you're not seeing.
But my things for why I'm super excited about like Chapter 4 and I'm excited about like the future of things is because of like I mentioned the humor. I thought A Little Horse was easily the funniest part of like anything G5 related. Like just in general, I think it was funnier than most of the jokes even in the movie. Like there are little things in the movie that I really like, but I don't know, A Little Horse just hit different for me. Maybe it's just me and my style of humor and it just lined up too perfectly.
I mean, it was a really good episode. I mean, it was definitely one of my more enjoyed episodes.
I gotta say, please tell me I'm not the only one who enjoys watching like Pip and Zip's mom on screen. She's so entertaining to watch.
Oh my gosh. I love one of the moments
Queen
that made
Haven.
me realize this show's humor is improving is in that episode where Sunny's talking to Queen Haven and she's like, and Pip is sick at skateboarding, and then Queen Haven's like, this answer is acceptable. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, Queen Haven is so fun to watch. For me, she's like the rarity of the show in terms of watching on screen. Like she's obviously she doesn't like. She's not on par with Tabitha, like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, or Rarity. Like, Rarity is, like, a lot more fun to watch. But Queen Haven is, like, in terms
she
of
has some of
5,
that dramatic flair, too.
Yeah, she has the dramatic flair that Rarity has, and I'm here for
it. Absolutely. I mean, you know, speaking of, like, Queen Haven, and some of the other things I've seen in terms of like chapter 4 improvements. I love like the little facial nuances that some of the characters will do, like relating to specific things. Like for example, when Queeve Haven and like Affabittle, and their little romantic intertwining that they have going on as like a subplot. I always just find it so funny that like when she mentions something relating to like Affabittle, like the characters like a lot of times, like Sunny specifically, will like roll her eyes and kind of like have like a disgusted face. It's like very brief, but I'm like, it's just so I love little like attention to detail stuff like that. They're like, it's so gross.
They'll do little things like that, and it's so nice to see that detail when, like, especially you look back at chapter 1 and you see just how stiff the characters were.
We noticed it in the trailer the first time.
In the background.
It was painful.
But yeah, they've made so many improvements, and I'm so happy to be excited about G5, because this was like my kind of like. This was almost like the ending for me. I was like, okay, chapter 4, I'll watch it because some people are saying it's good, but I think I'm like done with the show after this. But now
it hooks you back on.
It hooked me back on. I can't wait for chapter 5.
Hopefully it stays consistent.
And then Hasbro announces that they have 0 episodes for Make Your Mark
for
plan
2024
for next year, and it's like, oop.
I don't agree with the philosophy of everybody that like a lot of people believe that the show's like getting canceled or anything. I don't know if I wouldn't say the show's canceled until Hasbro makes like an official statement saying, hey, the G5 CG show's canceled.
Yeah.
But, we're going to get like a few more episodes, and then we're getting like the secrets of Starlight.
Oh yeah. I'll talk about that later.
That's a bait title. I'm just saying it now.
I strongly disagree, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What I want to bring up, Robert, do you know about what we're talking about?
No.
Do you know any of what we're talking about?
No, I do not.
I think there are some people in the audience who might not know.
Yeah, you should explain, man, or you should tell them about it.
So there was an investor meeting, essentially. I don't know all the details for this. I'm not an expert on it, but there was essentially a meeting for Hasbro to tell their big investors, the big investors of the company, what was planned for the future of each of their series. And a document about My Little Pony was, I don't even think it was leaked. I think it was public information. A document regarding My Little Pony came out, and it was detailing. It was very obvious that they had a very heavy emphasis on Tell Your Tale. There was barely anything about Make Your Mark mentioned, but Tell Your Tale is planned to. They have basically the exact schedule next year for all of the Tell Your Tale episodes planned out. Mm-hmm. And they have multiple 22 or I think is it 11-minute or 22-minute? I think they have multiple 22-minute episodes for Tell Your Tale planned for next year.
Maybe I should start watching Tell Your Tale then.
But it's doesn't stop there. For next year, they mention Make Your Mark, and they say that Lara mentioned and brought up Secrets of Starlight. That's what chapter 5 is going to be called. It's going to be called Secrets of Starlight.
Oh,
That's planned to release later this year.
You're probably excited.
I have some thoughts about that.
I have thoughts too, but I'll save them for our epic battle. I don't know.
I suppose. For next year, again, they had pretty much the exact schedule for all of the Tell Your Tale episodes. They have nothing listed for Make Your Mark next year.
Okay.
And a lot of people are worried about Make Your Mark hasn't had the greatest impression on a lot of people. It hasn't been doing amazingly on Netflix, as far as I'm aware.
And even in toy sales, I'm pretty sure through one of the
Hasbro's toy sales. At the beginning of this year, we got some information about their toy sales have been dipping quite a bit in regards to My Little Pony. So people are worried that Hasbro essentially saw that Make Your Mark isn't doing well. We're going to shift focus over to Tell Your Tale, which is doing really well on YouTube because it's short content on YouTube.
Yeah, short form content does really well, unfortunately.
And unfortunately for Tell Your Tale fans, I guess, but I can't say I fall into that boat. So I apologize if I'm offending anyone here. But yeah, so it has a lot of people worried for the future of Make Your Mark, especially since the reception of Chapter 4 has been so positive compared to the previous few chapters. That I know there are those people out there who are like, oh yeah, chapters 1 through 3 were great and are big fans of those and everything, and I get that. But that's not the general, that wasn't the general reception. The general reception has been, it's been mediocre to bad. And then chapter 4, a lot of people have been like, okay, it's actually decent, and people are actually excited about the future of things. But because of the lack of success, people are worried that, yes, there's a very high possibility that after Secrets of Starlight, the show might just shift over to just Tell Your Tale, and they might just continue the story there.
And they might just write a cancellation, if you will, of the CG show.
And that would be really unfortunate.
It'd be extremely unfortunate.
I honestly, to be fair, I probably wouldn't have batted an eye if this came out before Chapter 4.
Before Chapter 4.
I was like, oh yeah, of course. That makes sense. I'm ready to move on to the next generation.
But now I'd be genuinely sad.
Exactly. And it's it's frustrating because it's okay, well, you can argue, oh, you didn't like chapters 1 through 3, so the show's getting canceled. That's your fault. Okay, all right.
I mean, I hope Hasbro sees that we liked chapter 4 a lot more, though.
Yeah, and it's obviously none of that is set in stone per se, because again, those were more focused on Tell Your Tale than anything. Maybe they just they just wanted to talk more about Tell Your Tale because investors weren't as interested in Make Your Mark since it wasn't doing nearly as well.
Right.
Because that's a very high possibility.
Definitely good point.
All that said, we'll just have to wait and see. The thing
we sure will.
We need to talk about, though.
No, please, Maynard.
So, Make Your Mark, as I mentioned before, Make Your Mark Chapter 5, we got a logo for it. And this logo freaked a lot of people out. Because it was, I know we already kind of spoiled it, but Chapter 5 is going to be called Secrets of Starlight. Not only that, but the logo is using colors very reminiscent of a certain purple unicorn from Generation 4, introduced in Season 5 as a villain and then reformed and became one of the most obsessed over characters in the show.
It's clear who it is. It's Luna, obviously.
Yeah, Luna.
We're excited to see Luna back.
We're excited to see Luna back.
Starlight.
Yeah. And we already saw her as a filly in G5 already. So
natural progression.
No. So obviously, a lot of people are the first gut reaction because the word Starlight Glimmer is a character.
Yeah, I think that's
a very
obvious.
important character. Not only that, but also a very powerful unicorn.
One of the most powerful.
If you had to pick out a character not from the main cast to appear again, or because of, say, a strong tie to magic, you could bring up the Alicorns, you could bring up Discord. But before or after the characters that have literal world-ending power and are considered, deities, you have Starlight Glimmer. Now, I'm not saying that this means that, Starlight Glimmer is going to be back and she's going to be a main character and she's going to be...
We're on one of Maynard's crack theories again.
I'm not saying that that she's going to show up and it's going to be Starlight in the flesh and everything.
I picture you...
I'm saying...
I picture you just in the room with, frazzled hair and, the cork board with all the fucking strings.
Yeah, everything's coming to Pepe Sylvia.
Oh my gosh.
What I think is happening is that there's going to be something related to Starlight. I don't think that she is going to show up. I don't think that Kelly Sheridan is going to descend from the heavens and be like, "Hi, I'm Starlight Glimmer, and we're gonna go kick Opaline's butt." Like, I don't think that's gonna happen. As much as I would lose my mind, I don't think that's gonna happen.
That's what I was gonna say too, Maynard. I was gonna say, like, when I was saying like it's a bait title, what I meant by that is I think it'll have something related to Starlight, but I don't think it will be Starlight. That's what I was referring to when I was saying like it's a bait title.
I've seen a lot of pessimism from people, and they're like, "Oh, Starlight's just a word. They're talking about it just has something to do with space or whatever."
No, I think they've put too much like foreshadowing into that like image, teaser image alone. Anyway,
there's no way that. I mean, there have been little things that G5 has ignored about G4's lore and everything, but they have been very particular about tying Generation 4 to Generation 5.
Yes, absolutely.
And they haven't been outright disrespectful to Generation 4. I feel like the people behind Make Your Mark have at least a little bit of knowledge on G4. And I think Starlight was one of the most prominent characters in the latter half of that show. There's no way that they would be that tone deaf to release something titled Secrets of Starlight and have that color scheme and just be like, "Oh yeah, they're studying astrology or whatever, astronomy.
It's the star space lights."
Yeah, no, that's stupid. I think anyone who thinks that is out of their mind more than we are.
They're out of their main?
No, we're out of our main.
Roll credits! My Little Pony!
They're losing it, though. They're going in the loony bin. Like, no. I apologize if anyone listening genuinely thinks that I don't think you're a terrible person, but I do think that you need to rethink your life choices. All in all, I want to say that, that the teaser looks, mildly interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the teaser definitely gives hope to us.
I really want to see some stuff.
Yeah.
Aside from the Secrets of Starlight, I actually kind of want to backpedal a little bit here.
Yeah.
Earlier, you guys were talking about the final episode of Chapter 4.
Yes.
And how it was like fan-diddly-tastic. Honestly, I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't disappointed in the sense of like, oh, this was horrible writing or anything. My reason for disappointment in the end of Chapter 4, and I guess this is like your spoiler warning.
I think we've had enough spoilers for Chapter 4.
This is your mega spoiler warning at this point. But
yep.
Honestly, the fight was pretty anticlimactic.
I didn't want to say it. Thank you for saying it for me. It felt a little bit awkward.
Here's the deal. Why are the finales of G4 so good? Because they give it enough airtime to be good. What do I mean by that? Pretty much every single finale in G4 is multi-part. Same thing with the intros. They're multi-part. I think if it was the exact same writing, but they split it off and made it a little more in-depth and a little more, just a little bit more thought out, and they just made it 2 parts, I think the ending would have been great. I think they tried to fit way too much into one episode, and that's why it felt so awkward.
It felt like they were like hitting fast forward near the end to wrap everything up in the 22-minute time.
It was like, Misty, we hate you. Misty, we love you. Woo!
Yeah.
Did it.
Not only that, but I'm thinking like the beginning and the end of those episodes, I think, are the most egregious.
I found it kind of jarring where like Sunny, like 1 second Sunny was like very devastated, like Misty like runs back up, comes back down, she's pissed off. Then
oh my gosh.
Then Misty breaks the bubble. She's like, "You saved us?" It was very whiplashy.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Even just the intro. I think Maynard, you were even just about to mention the intro.
the intro and the ending both felt very like they didn't know how to lead into or out of things, so they just kind of had it happen. Misty just kind of got Sparky. Misty just kind of had Sparky.
Just had Sparky. The episode started outside the castle with Sparky.
And I get that she's gotten, she's near gotten Sparky before, and I get that they showed Sparky was comfortable with Misty, so that's why she was able to easier get him at the beginning. And I get that argument and everything, but it's so weird that at the end of one episode, I don't even remember what happened at the very end of A Little Horse, but they had something with Misty there. And then at the beginning of this one, it's just Misty has Sparky right outside of Opaline's castle. And it's
I have a theory about that.
Oh?
So, obviously, this is all just hypothesis. This is just random guess. There's literally no backing or evidence to this. But with how jarring it was, I would not be surprised if there was more of an intro than that, but they just got kind of cut due to time constraint. Because that's what the episode kind of felt like a lot of. It just felt like a lot of rushing. And I feel like there might have been more of an intro scene with Misty getting Sparky. Again, there's literally no basis for that, but just with how it was set up, makes me really feel like there was more, they just couldn't put it in because of the time.
It feels like they needed more time to do that. And then also
Which is why it should have been 2 parts.
So I also wanted to mention the ending. Sunny gets her, or Misty gets her mark, makes her mark. I told you guys, Misty's the main character.
We had our mind blown. We had our mind blown at HarmonyCon.
But Misty made her mark and helped Sunny save the day and all that. And then they're like, okay, and Opaline, you're trapped in there. And then they just walk out.
The end.
And leave Opaline there. And then Opaline breaks out right after they've walked out the door and doesn't pursue them? Huh?
Dude, I don't get it.
I don't understand either side of that interaction. I will say they're I don't want this to sound like we're completely trashing on the episode, because there were some really cool things about it.
No, there were really cool things.
I don't know if you guys noticed, because I didn't notice it my first watch through. I had to have this pointed out by a friend. There was something behind the table in Opaline's upper room. Did either of you guys see that?
No. I only saw it once.
So if you look, and I'll show a picture on screen, when they do the panning shot of the room, you know how they show they have the camera angle where it's the whole room and then they go to the characters, whenever they transition to the room, you can see something very familiar looking behind Opaline's table. It's a certain box or chest, I should say, that happened to sprout from a certain tree of harmony in the season. In the season
that box!
4. Yeah, the box is there.
I didn't even notice that.
Yes, Opaline has the box. I don't know if it's just an Easter egg or if it's something she legitimately has.
That's
and
terrifying.
Is
that is terrifying.
Yeah.
That is terrifying. What?
Ain't that wild?
I want to see that after the podcast. Show me that picture.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture, but yeah, I'll have shown a picture on screen. But and then I'm also excited to see, Opaline mentioned that the dragons are waking up at the end of the episode. I'm thinking that we might explore the Dragonlands soon. And I'm kind of excited to see that. I'm kind of excited to see what happens there.
We're going to see Spike's great-great-great-great-great-grandchild.
Maybe. We could see Spike, too. I don't think they're going to do that, though.
I don't.
But,
I wish.
I'm very interested because they've been very purposeful in showing that, Opaline's magic draws very heavily from dragons, is very much tied to dragons. She's a fire alicorn, yes, but most of her magic has come from Sparky. She's had a little bit of inherent magic herself, but when she's been able to get powerful is from Sparky's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's trying to go and explore the Dragonlands and just go on a dragon murder rampage and just take all their power and go Lord T-Rex style.
Oh my gosh! Every pony get down. We've got a mad pony on the loose.
I'm excited to see what happens there. But so like, don't get me wrong. There are things in that episode that I like. There are things I'm excited for the future of the show. I just don't understand when people are saying that this is the best episode in the series. I think that happened right before.
I kind of picked up on that whenever you mentioned that was your favorite, like Little Horse episode was your favorite. I mean, yeah, I'm glad I was able to get you out of your comfort zone there by being the one to take the brunt of saying the final episode was anticlimactic.
No, I'll say it. The final episode was not amazing. I don't think it was terrible.
I think it was better than the last chapters we've gotten.
It was better than anything we got from chapters.
But it wasn't the second coming of Celestia.
No.
Yeah.
The second coming of Celestia is when they do something that like captures the essence of G4 while still being its own thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, and then the battle with Opaline was kind of like, it was really cool first.
I like it was pretty well choreographed, I'll say.
You can see the exact moment where the budget jumps in the animation. You can like see, oh, there's a few more frames here.
that fight could not have been longer than like a minute. That was not longer than a minute of a fight.
It wasn't, and even then, like by the end of the fight, I'm like, oh, they're just doing the exact same thing over and over again. Opaline shoots fire at Sunny, and Sunny either dodges it or like uses her like shield to push it back.
You know, I guess we're just so used to like how cool the G4 action scenes are because you got like Twilight, super powerful magic user, and then you got, I mean, a lot of the support, like the other main 6 kind of also have like their like powers and like abilities, or they're like stronger than the average horse, right? They have the elements of harmony.
Yeah.
With this one, it was kind of just like the elements of Sunny.
Yeah, Sunny was really the main one that did anything. Actually, I did really like when Izzy and Pip were like throwing books at Opaline.
Yeah, books and stuff.
That was great.
Yeah,
they were doing what they could with their power.
We got Sunny with her Deus Ex Machina blasting Opaline, and then we have her friends just doing their best.
They tried.
You know what? Twilight's proud.
Yeah.
Actually, no, wait. Twilight might not be proud. They're throwing books.
Yeah, that's true. They might end up getting burnt in the crossfire. But all in all, I'm very happy with chapter 4.
Yeah, all things considered, I'm pretty pleased.
I'm excited for chapter 5. I have a theory about why things were cut short, but I'll get into that another episode.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because we're
straining our time budget
pretty long. So there's a few questions that we like to ask our guests at the end of every episode, right? And so one of the first of those is
what's your social security number?
Robert, we don't need any more of those.
My social security number is no.
All right, guys, get him. Find him.
Best pony?
Yes, best pony.
Can I say best pony for main 6 and then best pony outside of main 6?
Sure.
Okay, best pony outside of main 6, Sunburst. I love Sunburst.
Of course.
Sunburst is
best
great.
Best pony inside of main 6, Fluttershy.
Yes! Another Fluttershy supporter, yes!
Yeah, yep. Fluttershy.
We finally found a friend for you, Robert.
Yes!
Come here, little buddy.
Yes! Thank you. I love Fluttershy, though. She's great.
She is.
And then there are a couple things that am I forgetting a different question we ask at the end of every episode? Oh, favorite G5 pony.
Yeah, G5.
Favorite G5 pony. Gosh, that one's tricky. In terms of the movie, I really liked Hitch, and then after the movie, it wasn't Hitch. But
movie Hitch is like peak Hitch.
My favorite pony currently, probably probably Izzy.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, I really like Izzy. I mean,
fair enough.
I like how she's like. I liked her more in the movie again, but I mean, I still think I still think she translated fine. I'm really like torn between her and Zip. I like both of them very much.
I see.
But if I had to choose one, probably Izzy.
Heck yeah. I mean, yeah, just she's got that like goofy personality, and she's got similar characteristics to Pinky, but she's kind of her own character because she's got that like crafty side of her going, and I can see that. Pip all the way though. Pip is wonderful.
Pip is really good. She definitely went up a lot in my I really didn't like her until that episode, to be honest. Like I didn't hate her, but she was like definitely lower on my scale, but she definitely went up a few points after that episode for sure.
Gotcha. Well, in terms of all around favorite pony, I don't want to get anyone confused. It's still Jazz Hooves in terms of G5. Jazz Hooves is great.
Sven Gottlieb.
Oh my gosh, have you listened to the My Little Pony podcast? Maybe we shouldn't go into that. But
Bruh, Pip on Out of Our Mains?
The day will come eventually.
I would die.
I would too. But anyways, though, so there's a couple other things we do at the end of every episode. And those are, you probably know, you've listened to some of the episodes. You know that we like to have our fans send us our fans, that sounds so weird. We like to have the people listening send us a picture of a random household item. And I think last week we had ironing boards, and the week before that we had electrical outlets.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any random household item that you can think of that people can send us a picture of?
Yeah, sure.
Or just anything.
How about a pet toy? Like anything that you'd play with your pet with,
what if
like
they don't have
laser
pets?
pointer. If you don't, okay, for people who have pets, who are the cooler people. No, I'm just kidding. No, if you have pet toys. If you don't have a pet toy, take a picture of a stop sign.
There we go.
That's your punishment. Go outside, touch grass.
Oh my god!
You know what? Get a picture of that stop sign while listening to Out of Our Mains on your iPhone or Android.
Yeah, put in those headphones.
But don't take a picture while you're driving. Please pull over, park, and then take a picture.
Yes, we don't want to cause any crashes.
Or if you're a passenger, take a picture.
Out of Our Mains is not liable for any accidents you may be into.
But you can listen to the podcast while driving.
Yeah.
I've done that, actually. I've listened to podcasts while driving.
Our podcast specifically.
I might have. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think I have. Yeah, so if you have if you want to send us a picture of a pet toy or a stop sign, you can send that to us on Twitter. I'm not calling it the other name. I'm calling it Twitter because that's what I know it as, and that's what everyone knows it as.
Twitter. Or we could say the formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, the site formerly known. You can send it to us on the site formerly known as Twitter at Out of Our Mains using the hashtag MainPod, or you can send it to us on Mastodon. I believe it's Out of Our Mains at equestria.social.
Hey Maynard, remember the days where you would spell out the hashtag?
Yeah, that's MANEPOD. That's MANEPOD.
Oh my god. You sound like someone in an infomercial.
Yep. Call now to receive. But wait, there's more. Call now to receive David for free.
David.
Buy now, get David for free. Sorry, if you know, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, you can also join our Discord, the Out of Our Mains Discord. That'll be linked in the description.
Yep.
And you can send it to our Send Pics chat there.
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead and do
you can also
that.
if you want, you can just pop in and say hi.
Yeah,
I'll
come say hi
back
to us. Join our Discord. Yeah, Lara will say hi to literally everyone who says hi there.
Lara
until
will
forever.
personally say hi to every single one
I will
of you.
personally mail you a card in the mail.
And if you subscribe right now, there's a chance that I will not perish this week.
Oh,
subscribe to the Other Mains podcast.
That's right. My life is on the line now.
we're getting more and more like dangerous.
Life is on the line.
It started with Save the Out of Remains podcast, and now it's transpired to save Robert's life.
I will go on an MLP fasting journey.
No, don't do it. It's too dangerous.
I can't live without Pony.
I guess with that, is there anything else?
Yes, we also have questions of the episode. So we usually like to have people answer a question at the end of every episode. And I guess our question will be, since it was kind of our last topic, what are your thoughts on Make Your Mark Chapter 4?
Yes.
Tell us about those in the comment section. I definitely said comment section. I definitely didn't misspeak and say description. If you're listening on YouTube, or you can send it to us on Twitter, or you can respond to the Q&A if you're listening on Spotify, or again, you can join our Discord and send it there.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think that's about everything. Lero, did you have anything that you wanted to plug at the end of this episode?
In terms of plugging, I think everybody already knows. Go subscribe to the @Lerovun YouTube channel here over on YouTube. Go follow me on Twitter if you feel so inclined. And other than that, big shout out to everybody who's been here to support me so far. Thank you guys so much for having me on, and I have a lot of good looking forwards to future episodes.
Heck yeah. Also, go join Lerovun's Discord server.
Yeah, come join the Lero's Banana Bonanza trademark.
The Banana Bonanza.
Trademark. I will sue you. I have the trademark.
You're gonna sue Illumination.
But yeah, so I'll have that linked in the description as well. And yeah, go subscribe to Lero's channel. Links to everything and anything related to that will be in the description as well. I think that's about everything. So, Robert, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Banana.
Fair enough. Banana.
Yeah.
Have a good week, everybody.
See you later, everybody.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Banana.
Banana.
Banana.